Hello and welcome to my channel. Recently I've been asked why I'm doing these videos, why they're so personal in nature, and the truth is I started going to therapy earlier this year. I'm attending online therapy through BetterHelp. I'm not affiliated or sponsored in any way, but I could be. Hit a girl up. And I wanted to get to the bottom of why I'm thinking the things that I am, why I have certain thought patterns, and I really want to process my emotions. I've recently started following a lot more body positive YouTube channels, and one of them is by Carrie Dayton, and I love her. She's so funny and she's so honest. A lot of her videos are about being a mid-sized body, and we're very similarly sized, so I could definitely relate to a lot of things that she says. She talks about topics ranging from self-acceptance, struggling to find clothing in your size, and a lot of the topics I wouldn't think to talk about publicly, but I'm really glad that she is because it sheds light on all these things that we think about in our minds, all these things that make us feel so bad about ourselves. But the truth is, they're not weird, and we should really normalize the feelings that we're feeling and talk about these openly. And since I've been doing this, I've been noticing that a lot of people are going through a lot of the same things. The more I talk to my friends, the more I'm realizing that they're experiencing anxiety as well. And so I was hoping that by talking about these topics, I would normalize it for people. And I also find that on the internet, I don't have a whole lot of representation being brown. So I thought it would be nice just to add a whole other face to the mix so that some of you out there who are also brown could maybe relate to some of this. The topic I'm going to be discussing today is being hypercritical. And I want to give you some background onto why I'm so hypercritical, how it all kind of happened for me. And I grew up in New York City, and I have a lot of siblings. So I have 4 sisters. I have 1 brother also. But having 4 sisters makes you so aware of what you're wearing, how you're dressing, how you're doing your makeup, your hair, whatever it is. And I was having feedback constantly. And I know a lot of you have siblings and you're hearing criticisms and judgments as well. However, when you have so many siblings, it's just that much more amplified and the voices just seem that much louder. And also, growing up in New York City, I'm surrounded by a lot of talented, hardworking, and smart people. And so the bar here is so high. There's such a high standard for work, productivity, whatever it is you're doing. It just seems like you have to be so good at whatever it is. From a young age, I was criticizing my siblings. They were criticizing me. I was criticizing and judging everybody around me. And when I would get together with my friends and socialize, we would all basically do the same thing. And I know gossiping is normal. Everybody does it. But for me, it was such a different type of criticism. And being so harshly critical became normal to me because everyone around me was doing it. And so I thought this was completely okay and it was normal. As I got older, I started to realize that this is not a good thing. It's a bad thing because it doesn't make me happy. And looking at other people and just constantly judging them and seeing how they could do better, or looking at myself, looking in the mirror and seeing what's wrong with me at all times wasn't going to really make me happy. So I realized that it was bad. I realized that it was shameful, but my thoughts didn't go away. I didn't just become less judgmental, and I didn't look in the mirror and immediately assume that I was amazing and everything was perfect all of a sudden. I want to go back to when I first started being very hypercritical of everybody around me and myself, and I thought this was a good thing. I thought that if I was constantly pushing myself to be better, to act better, to say the right things, that I would have more success in life and at work, and that I would feel better about myself, and that ultimately it would lead to more happiness. However, these thoughts just led me to becoming more of a perfectionist. And chasing perfection is not something that makes you happy. Why? Because it's impossible to attain perfection. And the truth is, it's something that you're going to be chasing forever. Not only was it so hard to achieve perfection or even do things that well, I struggled so much with everything that I was doing because I felt like I had to be so great at it always from the jump. But the truth is, no one's good at anything that they first start doing. And so you have to start things and be bad at them for a little bit. But for me, I didn't really think that way. I always thought, oh, if I'm doing this and I'm doing this badly, it's not really worth doing. And it wasn't until I got older that I realized anything that's worth doing is worth doing badly, even if just in the beginning or honestly forever. Because there's so many things that I like to do that I'm not really good at. For instance, these videos, I love them. I'm not that great at editing. I'm not that great at videos. And I'm sure this video is not the best quality you've ever seen, but it's something that I enjoy doing. So why not do it if I enjoy doing it? Why not do it if it makes me happy, even if I'm not that great at it? And logically, if I keep doing it, I'll eventually get better at it, right? So I was really hurting myself by trying to be a perfectionist with everything. But with perfectionism also comes OCD. I had a lot of obsessive compulsive thoughts. I don't consider myself to have OCD, but my therapist suggests that I may have obsessive compulsive personality disorder. And I think that that might be the case because I do have a lot of obsessive thoughts. If I say something to somebody the wrong way, I will think about it for hours afterward. And I know a lot of you understand what I'm talking about. But for me, it's not just a one-time thing where I say something weird or cringy and I think about it for the night. For me, it's very common. This happens to me all the time. I also notice that if I'm researching something, whether it's some lipstick or a blouse or a baby scarf for my nephew, I find myself researching for hours. And why is that? It's because I'm obsessing, because the thing that I'm getting has to be perfect. And this behavior, it doesn't help me because not only is it insane to think you're going to find the perfect scarf, I'm spending way too much time on this. And so it's hindering me from doing better things with my time. Also, paranoia. When you constantly think that you're doing things wrong or everybody else is doing things wrong, you wonder what everyone else is thinking about you all the time. You assume that everyone else must be as harshly critical and so attuned to what you're doing the way that you are. But then you start to realize, no, most people are pretty self-absorbed and they're thinking about themselves. No one's as focused on you as you are. A lot of my paranoia also made me think that other women especially were viewing me in this harsh light that I was viewing myself. And so I tended to hate on other women and judge them much more harshly than I was judging men. And it's funny because the comedian Nikki Glazer, she always makes the joke that something that bothers her is other female comedian success. And I think that's so true. A lot of women, we feel like we have to cut each other down so that we can be happy for some reason. But it's obviously not true because it's never helped me in any way. And all these different feelings and thoughts led to me struggling with finding self-love and self-acceptance. Please see my previous video on this topic as well. When you're constantly judging yourself, it's really harsh to step back and be like, hey, am I really doing that badly? Is the thing that I'm doing worth doing? What do I need to do to improve? How much do I really need to improve? It's hard to step back and be objective when you have such strong feelings that you're constantly messing up, that you're not doing things as well as you should be doing them. I find that something that really exacerbates a lot of my feelings and my thoughts. It's social media. And I think it's really common for a lot of people to feel this way. I think with Facebook, Twitter, and of course Instagram, where everyone is perfect and filtered to death. You think that everyone really looks like this. You think everyone's having the time of their life all the time. But it's really hard to step back and say, hey, this is just a highlight reel. No one is sitting around and apple picking all the time or sitting on a beach and having a great time and having cocktails. A lot of my friends that are young parents, they'll show you pictures of their kids and it always looks like it's a fun and amazing time. And I'm sure it is. But no one's showing you pictures or videos of their kids having a tantrum. No one's showing you all the times that they feel insecure about themselves. You're not really seeing or hearing about all the bad times. You're just seeing all the good times. And so you assume everyone around you is having a good time and that you must be the only one who's having a bad time or struggling with whatever it is that you're struggling with. And so it took me a really long time to understand social media and to understand that what you see isn't really what you get. Because the truth is, people curate their photos, they curate their videos and their experiences, and of course they run all these filters through it, and so you're getting the image that people want to show you, but it's not a full truth. And once I started to understand social media and what it really was and what I was really seeing, I was able to take a step back and stop comparing myself to everyone else, because as they say, comparison is the thief of joy. And it's true, because if you're comparing yourself to your friends or family members who are going through completely different experiences in life, you're never really going to be happy. You're always going to feel like you're not doing as good as you should be. You're always going to feel like, oh, I need to do this better. I need to do that better. You most likely are doing things very well. If you're doing as good as you can, then that is good enough. You don't have to compare yourself to everyone else. What they're doing works for them, and what you're doing should work for you. I also started realizing while in therapy that I need to be more mindful and not constantly try to work on self-improvement or being productive. I think it's great to work on self-improvement and do self-care and all those things for yourself, but you can't be productive of every minute of every day. And sometimes you just need to take some time for yourself, and it's okay. And it isn't self-indulgent to relax or take time for yourself. It's really good for you to unwind and to be mindful of your thoughts. Why are you having them? And where are they really coming from? Are they good for you? What is the whole reason that your brain is going in this direction? I often find myself feeling so guilty when I buy myself things that I consider frivolous because I don't need them. I just want them. or other extraneous things. But I'm starting to realize that it's just me being hypercritical of myself and realizing that when you're hypercritical of yourself, you're hypercritical of how you spend money. And so you feel like you constantly have to optimize every dollar you're spending. You should buy things that are only good for your life, and you can't buy extraneous nonsense like you don't need 10 shades of red lipstick, but the truth is you don't need it, but it's okay if you want it, if you're still paying all your bills. And once I started to analyze my thoughts and my behaviors, I started to calm down a little bit and feel a little bit more relaxed and realize that I don't have to be so harsh on myself, and I don't have to constantly overanalyze every little thing that I do or every little thing I say, all the things that I'm buying. As I pause and I really think about this, I realize that there's a difference between thinking critically and being judgmental. I think critical thinking is good for all of us. It helps us in our decision making and how we go about our daily lives, and that's good for you, I think, to an extent. But I think harshly judging everything isn't really good for you. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help the people around you, and you're unable to help people if you're just judging them and you can't be empathetic to what they're going through. I also realized that you can't excel at everything, and that's completely all right. Even if you're not good at something, if it brings you joy, if it makes you happy to do it, you should still do it. There's so many things that I've been doing now that I don't think I'm very good at, but I enjoy doing them. And I think, you know what? It's okay. I'm not great at this. Maybe one day I will be. Who knows? But I enjoy doing it. And when I am good at things, I can appreciate them that much more that I'm good at them. And I can not feel so bad when I'm not as good at doing those things. I think especially now during COVID, while we're all kind of locked at home for the most part, I think a lot of us are feeling bad that we're not doing more with our free time because we're at home and most of us aren't commuting. And so we feel like we should be doing something so amazing with our time. It's okay to just be okay, and it's okay to not be okay. If you're struggling and you need help, that's all right. Don't feel like you have to be doing so amazingly. There's a global pandemic. You're not going to be doing that well. And if you are, that's wonderful too. I'm really happy for you. And for those of you that aren't, I feel you. I'm there with you. I'm struggling. If you're not eating or exercising the way that you normally would be, cut yourself a little slack. Things are really hard right now, and we're all doing the best that we can. I hope this video was helpful to you. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're all staying safe and healthy.